Hello.
Hi.
Tegan and Sara. Your last album released 2 years ago. How long after releasing that album and touring for it did you start writing or thinking about songs for Sainthood?
I got home from making the con and started writing new songs because I was like, you know, what if this record doesn't do well? I'll have to like put a new record out right away. So a few of the songs from this new record, Sainthood, I actually wrote during that time.
You know, you've been playing for over a decade, 6 albums, I think, and how would you say that your opinion on romantic ideals and romantic love has changed since late teens, early 20s?
I think that, like, not to do with music, it's just a strange coincidence that we're a band that writes about love. I mean, I think we're sort of on the same trajectory that anybody is on about love and what they're looking for in a relationship, and we're sort of in that awkward stage where we're in our late 20s, and you know, like you said, when you're like a teenager, you meet someone and you're not thinking like, what are your short-term and long-term goals? Like, what do you like on a date? What's your relationship like with your family? Like, do I have to spend Christmas with you and your siblings? Like, you know, you're not really thinking about the logistics or the realities of partnering with someone. You're mostly just, you're like in love and it's romantic.
You're
and
throwing
it's,
around things like soulmate.
Yeah, and you're just, and it's exciting, and it's scary, but in like a really fun, the way that life seems scary and unknown.
Sensitive, it's true. Alligator tears cried over you.
Definitely writing, the process of actually sitting down and physically writing hasn't changed a ton for me over a decade, but the intention with which I sit down and write has definitely changed, and I think I've been sitting down and writing with a little more, like, I had a lot to say. Like, I'm saying something on this record, whereas, like, with the con, I was like, are you saying something? Can you hear me? Like, I know specifically going from the con to Sainthood, you know, our last record, to this new record, I figured out that, like, being that open and being that vulnerable did not benefit my cause at all. So I think Sainthood is a much more reserved record for me. Like, I feel like I've reined it in a little bit and maybe tried not to be so weepy and pathetic and maybe be a little stronger, and like, so, you know, there's some songs on the record for me that are a little more like demanding, you know, like, or a little more aggressive and a little more ballsy.
What are both the good and bad parts of now having just instantaneous music at your fingertips?
I think for our band specifically, it was really positive for our career. A huge part of the Tegan and Sara experience is how intimate we'll let you get with us, you know, like, we'll tell the stories and, you know, we'll connect with you and we'll give you the meanings of the songs, and, like, you know, it's not just about music with us. The internet helped us do that, obviously, in a way that I didn't have to handwrite, you know, letters every day to our fans. Especially on our a couple records ago, we had a record called So Jealous, and that was when we really saw, like, I mean, that was when MySpace really exploded too, but we saw, you know, over a couple weeks going from a couple thousand hits a day on our MySpace page to like 30,000. It was a great tool for us, and we saw a ton of growth at that point. The bad part of it, of course, is like...
I know, I'll do the bad part.
Yeah, you do the bad part.
Music was truly about like a community, not communities that are all connected on the internet or connected by a line or connected by a website or whatever. It was really about, like, oh, that kid that has the Sex Pistols, you know, patch on his backpack, and I see him every Friday at this lounge, and we don't know each other, but we're a community, you know, like, and there's something about that doesn't happen anymore. You just don't have that. They get sick of things too. Like, someone recently came up to me and told me that they were referencing a photo or something that they had seen around the time that we had released the con, and they were like, wow, did I get sick of that picture? And I was like, oh my God. You realize that, like, people constantly want something new. They want new photos, new videos, new images, new comments, new sound bites.
It's hard. It's hard finding that balance, though, because, again, like, it's so, there are those good things and there are those bad things. And then we started talking about how to promote our new record, and I was all like, we could do a live feed, and we could, like, you know, give away signed copies of Sainthood, and, like, my manager were like, really? Do you really want to do that? And I was like, I don't know what I want anymore. I want to be 90s, but I want to be 2010 as well. Like, it's so, there's this, like, you know, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be like, well, in my time, you know, we read zines and we only liked one new band, but then at the same time you want to be that guy because you want to remember that, like, when we put a record out, it's not a flash in the pan, you know, like, we've been working on this for 2 years. It was an enormous amount of effort, blood, sweat, tears, and H1N1, you know, like it was like, you know, we killed it, you know, like we went out to make a record and we care about it and every little element matters to us.
Don't bend, don't plead, don't beg, don't scream, don't whine, don't fight, don't tell me.
Your books, you're also releasing on, in, and at.
I wanted it to seem like someone else had come in and made. You know, be like if I made a music video, it'd be fun and cute, you know, but if we hire someone who makes music videos, it's going to look like a music video, and we tried to accomplish, you know, being publishers all of a sudden, you know, like we had some time off and I was like, let's do this book series, it'll be really amazing, and all of a sudden it turned into like, you know, a book series. I think it's a great, like, companion piece to the record. Like, I think it's a great timing that's coming out with Sainthood, because I think that we're at a point in our career where we're gonna, I think this record is really gonna open up and we're gonna see a lot of new fans, but we've also had this fan base for 10 years that I think are in need of like an infusion of personal Tegan and Sara moments.
And there's still something about, you know, like tangibly holding like a book that we've designed, like, you know, what does the paper feel like, what does the cover look like, what is the size, what does it come in, what kind of packaging does it come in, what kind of font, like all of these things are like, we can affect it more.
What are you guys as a band looking forward to the most in the coming year?
I feel like we always sort of feel excited about the albums, but I feel really proud of this record, and I feel like we're in this really exciting, comfortable stage of our career where I'm not afraid of criticism. I feel like we have a really strong fan base. I feel really supported. I'm just excited to like start a record campaign where I'm not freaking out. I feel really like this record's gonna come out, we're gonna tour, we've done this before, it's all hand, like we're all right. And as Tegan was saying, like because this was a band record, I all of a sudden feel like a much more competent musician, and I'm really looking forward to playing with other people in bands. Like a lot of times it was like, okay, this doesn't come that natural to me. I'm sort of a solitary music songwriting thing, and now I'm like, I can play with people. Like, go ahead, we can play together. And that's like actually a really, really new thing.
We played this weekend and we played 6 new songs from the record, which of course our fans had not heard anything, and I was like peeking as I was singing and watching their faces, and I was like, we sound good and the songs sound really good. I've never practiced before. Like I'd never written, like when Sara and I would go into the studio, I'd just be like, you do it. You know, like I just really didn't, I thought I wrote the songs and I'm me. Isn't that enough, you know? And then all of a sudden this record, I had a moment with Chris Walla early in pre-production where I was like spazzing about, and I'm sure he meant no disrespect, but he was like, we'll figure something out for you. And I was all like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And I went home and like started writing music, like writing out parts, like charting music for Sara's
We did
songs.
like 8 years of music theory.
Yeah,
like,
we
I
just
think
got
we're
lazy. We got really lazy, and then all of a sudden I woke up like a year ago and was like, I'm not, you know what, like I'm a competent musician. I'm actually a good musician. Like I'm tired of being like, you write great songs. You're really good at melodies. You're very funny. Like I'm also a very good musician, and I need to stop showing up to rehearsal having not played my songs for 4 months. You know, I need to get up every day, and I can remain in my underwear, but I do need to put a guitar on my lap and practice songs. And so I think that I'm really excited to go on the road and actually like be better. When we started rehearsals, I was like, you know what, I'm into this. I want to be like a musician. That's what I do. I want to be that. So I'm really excited to spend a year being a musician. Well, in my time, you know, we read zines and we only liked one new band.